Hello, welcome to another SonicLAB. Today we're looking at the Boomstar 4075 Eurorack filter module. If you've actually seen any of our other Boomstar reviews, we did actually take a look sometime back at the Boomstar desktops, and they do sound absolutely lovely. And the thing about the desktops that created a difference between them was they had a different filter circuitry. The 4075 is a 24 dB low pass filter, actually modelled on the ARP 4072 filter, but that's by the by, this name just seems to have stuck. And this filter is and I quote, it's a 24 dB 4-pole cascaded transconductance low pass filter with 6 pairs of hand matched transistors. So they take their building seriously and they really do go for the sort of quality parts. So on the front panel we've got the cutoff frequency, we've got resonance, we've got keyboard tracking half full and off, 2 separate CV inputs which modulate the frequency of the filter, which is handy for creating complex modulations, a CV input for the resonance as well, plus we've got an input and an output stage. So the input stage allows us to drive or not the filter as we choose, and that's actually quite important to the way that this thing can sound. Additionally, we've got a CV input for tracking the filter, the 2 frequency CV inputs, resonance CV input, and then 2 outputs here. So it's all about the sound really, so let's check it out. So I've got a sawtooth coming from the Boomstar Oscillation, which you can see in another review. If I bring the filter up, switch a sawtooth in, just do a sweep, and this is with the input set at about 12 o'clock. Got that nice brassy quality. Now if I start bringing the input up, you get that nice smudge. Bring it up a bit more, take the level down. You get that really nice sort of brass. It almost sounds like a Moog-like filter, but it's not. It's based on the ARP, as we say. Has a really nice, familiar sound to it. So let's start bringing the resonance up. 50%. Bottom end drops off quite dramatically when not driving it so hard. We start to bring it in a bit more drive. Take that down a bit. We get nice sub-harmonics. Take that down a bit. Bring up the resonance to about 3/4. Start to drive it again. Really drive it. Full resonance. So it is actually possible, if I now take the output out, you can hear that it will go into self-oscillation. Now what I should do is maybe patch up a keyboard output into the 1 volt per octave input. So now, and now I can play this on the keyboard. I'm playing octaves here. Doesn't sound like it's quite scaled correctly to me, and that's in full track mode, so it should be doing octaves. I've switched it off, obviously that's not going to do anything. Half. I don't know what that is, but you can hear it's not quite on the money when it comes to the keyboard tracking, which is kind of a shame. But after a chat with Studio Electronics, they tell me that it is possible to calibrate the filter for the tracking of your particular setup. Obviously they can't calibrate it for every possible setup, so it was just a mismatch between mine and theirs. But coming back to bringing an input in, the nice thing about this is that we've got the ability to drive the input stage separately and then balance up the output stage. I mean, it would have perhaps been nice to be able to see a way of modulating the input drive. That would have been pretty cool, but I guess we can only fit so many things on here. So if we bring this up, try a square wave. got that nice kind of hump in the bottom end, if that's a term. So now let's try doing some modulation. I've got an LFO here which I'll bring into CV1, which is my single pulse. That's CV1, so I can into CV1. And I've also got an LFO that I've got in another module that I'll patch into CV2. So I can set up all those nice kind of complex modulations. Maybe I'll modulate So yeah, it's nice to have those two CV inputs and then to be able to modulate them out. I mean, to my ears, the thing that makes this particularly nice is the fact that we've got a drive level into it and can really greatly affect the sound of the filter on the way in. Sounds absolutely lovely, I have to say. It's one of the Boomstar filter types I didn't review when we looked at the SE80, as I said, and the 5079, which I think was the Modular filter. And this one, I'm glad I got a chance to listen to it because it does have a really pleasant sound to it, and that sort of familiar thing. I've never owned an ARP 2600, but I'm told the filter on it is supposed to be top drawer. So it's a question of price. Just quickly, actually, the 4075 is 12 HP, so it's not too wide, not as wide as the Oscillation. Retails around £229 UK, so again, it's kind of the premium end of modular. If you're used to spending money on maybe some of the lower budget Eurorack stuff from Dopefer and that's like, this is sort of a cut above, but I must say, the sound of the filter is really quite lovely, and being able to drive it and have separate control of the input and output means you can really get quite precise about the sort of filter sound that you like. So that's the 4075 from Boomstar. Lovely sounding filter.